Hello, my name is Jacqueline Urquidi, and for my speech topic for Persuasive, I chose adoption. I want to go ahead and begin with a quote I found online, and it says, "Adoption is complicated, but it is also rich with narratives of strength," by Julian Lauren. I do want to go ahead and define what the quote actually means because it gave me a meaning, and it says, "Adoption is complicated because you do have to go through a process of legal requirements that provide the state with information about yourself before you adopt a child. But at the end, it gives you strength because you are taking care of a child that is not your own, and it is your responsibility, and they're giving the responsibility to you." I want to go ahead and begin with a definition of adoption that I found and is most accurately. Adoption is legally transferring the care and guardianship from a child's biological parents to adoptive parents. It is common for couples to adopt a child from the system because they might not be able to conceive, they're having problems, or any other problem they're having, they are trying to adopt a child, as well as single people that want to adopt a child because they don't want to be in a relationship, or they just want to adopt and be a single parent, or same-sex people who also adopt, and that is because they might not be able to have a child and they want to start a family. Single and same-sex people do want to start a family, so they go ahead and adopt and go through the steps required to adopt a child legally. Then there is a process that the biological parents or mother has to go through when giving their child to adoption. It's biological relationships that the mother or father or both want to keep in mind when giving their child to adoption. It's closed adoption or open adoption. There's two options that the system gives you, and I'm going to go ahead and begin with the closed adoption. The biological mother or father has no contact at all with the child or the adoptive parents at all, and that is a option that the mother, father, or both can take, and they don't have no information at all, or it goes the other way, the adoptive parents or the adoptee. For open adoption, that means that the biological parents have contact with the child, whether it is often or twice a year. That does vary for the adoptive parents to decide, but they do have contact with the adoptive parent or adoptee. They have access to having contact by mail, physically, or through the phone. It just depends on the adoptive parents, like I said. As well, for the National Adoption Center, it promotes adoptions of older, disabled, and siblings to be placed together. And there is an option of families to actually place their child with their other child and be adopted by the same family. With that being said, grandparents, family members, and even family friends can adopt the child. But there's a process of background checks that are applied when trying to adopt the adoptee, and they have to check the stability as well of the home. The process does take a while, as it is a legal process that has to be put, and it does verify the adoptive parents as checking for anything, like I said, background check or the stability of the home. To conclude with my speech, adoption is the transferring of guardianship from the biological parent to the adoptive parent. The biological parent, whether it's a mom, the dad, or both, they have the option of having an open or closed adoption with a child as it is not seeing their child ever or having contact with the child, whether it's once a month or twice a year. Any family member or family friend can adopt the child, but there are background checks and stability checks on the home to check if the child is going to be placed in the right home that they need to know. And I want to finish off my speech with a quote that I found online, and it says, "Not flesh of my flesh, nor bone of my bone. Never forget for a single minute, you didn't grow under my heart, but in it." Fleur Conkling Hayligger. And it is something strong to keep in mind as we grow older, as we approach the near future, when you want to have a family, or if you already have a family and you want to make a bigger family, you can adopt a child and go through the legal process, take care of a child that is put in harms of their mother or father or both, and put into a good home, and they will provide the background checks, and it is really nice to have an adoptive family, because um there could be children that are still in the system and are not being adopted by families, and it is really sad to see that. And it's just something to keep in mind for your near future, because at the end it makes you happy to realize that it's not your own children, but it's someone who you raised, and they could have been in a worse situation, and it's something to keep in mind. I really do want to adopt